Back here on the Showcast, and we are joined by a man who you may recognize from the MTV Network's Guy Code and Girl Code. He'll also be in the upcoming IFC hockey comedy Benders. But before that, make sure you go see him at Steel Stacks in Bethlehem on Thursday, September 3rd. Let's welcome to the Showcast, Chris Distefano. Chris, how's it going?
Hey, I'm doing well, guys. Thanks for having me on. It's good. The Stacks. Is that what the nickname is? The place, the Stacks.
Yeah, Steel Stacks. Call it whatever you want. Big old rusty thing.
I want to eat pancakes.
Big old rusty landmark. Whatever you want to call it.
Bethlehem. That's a nice. I've never been there, but it's not that far from New York. Only like an hour and 15 minutes. It says.
Yeah, and you're a Brooklyn guy.
Yeah.
Obviously, we are East Coasters as well. Do you like the whole East Coast comedy stuff?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think in my opinion, the New York, comedy style is, the country. It's very relatable, whether you're from New York or not. Just because of how much, how many popular shows, Seinfeld, Everybody Loves Raymond, King or Queen. Like the Cosby Show, all those shows are East Coast based, so I feel like that's, really, the East Coast, like, we're like the oldest, group of people. The stuff has been passed down so much. The comedy's been passed down for us for hundreds of years. Even in the people in LA, a lot of the funniest people, if you find out, Dane Cook's out there, he's from Boston, anybody goes out there, Bill Burr, Boston. I feel like East Coast is good for comedy. I feel like it's the best coast for comedy.
I agree. Yeah, we talked to last week. We talked to Nick DiPaolo. He's from Massachusetts, lives in New York.
Oh yeah.
He was just at the Steel Stacks this past week. All right, you strike me though as a sports guy. Are you big into sports?
Oh yeah, I love sports. My whole goal for starting here in comedy was to be able to do comedy and sports, and anything I get involved in, I was always pushing to get into sports because I love it.
I'm almost afraid to ask what teams.
Teams, Yankees, Giants, New York Football Giants, New York Knicks, New York Rangers, Andre Agassi, Steffi Graf. I love Tiger Woods. Who else? Bowler, Pete Weber Jr.
All over.
Those are my sports people.
Yeah, you started losing me at Giants and Rangers and Knicks, but you brought it back around with Tiger Woods, so we can. We can keep going. We can keep going.
Andre Agassi for that.
Andre Agassi, yeah.
Yeah. Steffi Graf.
Yeah, we're Philly people, but actually my dad is from the Bronx, so I was kind of raised to enjoy the Yankees. I don't hate them like most, but obviously being in Philadelphia, I kind of have to. I would be probably burned at the stake if I was strictly a Yankees fan. So,
right.
But I've still.
Really, but I don't know though. Look, Yankees. If you're a Boston guy, then yeah, you're the rivalry. But I don't know. Is the rivalry with the Phillies and the Mets as huge as the Yankees and Red Sox? I don't know if they would crucify you being a New York fan. Eagles, Giants, yes. But I don't know. I don't know if Phillies to Mets. I don't know. I don't know if it holds as much weight as a Yankee fan hating someone from Boston and vice versa.
No, I think that's probably one of the not worst, but one of the biggest rivalries, I would say. I think everybody would agree. Yeah, my wife's actually a Giants fan, so it's a broken household for sure.
Well, yeah, that's tough. Eagles, Giants, that's a tough one, and my condolences. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I know. Well, Steve's off Philly, so I can't really compare anything to him because he doesn't like any of the New York teams.
That is true.
Yeah, man.
I was a Carmelo Anthony fan in college, however.
Oh, yeah. I like Carmelo. I'm one of the few New York Knicks fans that love Carmelo Anthony.
That still likes Carmelo Anthony.
I love him. him.
Yeah. Back to the tour just a little bit. I know you mentioned the roots and the East Coast stuff, and obviously now you're involved with this Outbreak comedy tour, which is kind of cool. It's kind of like a thing, or at least the vibe that I got from it, is it's a tour that kind of tries to find young up-and-comers and make a name for themselves by giving them exposure, essentially. So can you give us a little bit into the Outbreak tour and maybe what everybody that's going to go to the Steel Stacks to see, what kind of comedy they might be able to expect on September 3rd?
Yeah, Monster Energy. So who doesn't love energy? And Monster drinks. That's a good one. And it's just, it's going to be just a fun stand-up show. Where to me, I'm bringing my buddy Montana in. It's my act. If you're familiar with it, I mean, I'm doing my thing, especially in Pennsylvania. I feel like even though it's not New York, because we all got that East Coast mindset, should be a good show. I know the name Outbreak Tour makes you feel like, should you wear a mask? And, are you gonna get something? And you're not. I mean, I don't know if you're gonna get a disease or not. It's possible, but it's not. We don't mean outbreak like rabies. No one's gonna walk away with their rabies. But you will probably get a free can of Monster Energy drink. So do that.
Sweet. There's not a bunch of little monkeys running around giving people diseases.
No, I mean I could arrange for that if you want.
if you're into that kind of comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to do that, let's do that. I'll give everybody What was that virus called? The Reese's virus? I don't know what it was.
Yeah, the Reese's yeah. They've also obviously last year the Outbreak Comedy Edition was, I'm looking on the site here, was Garfunkel and Oates. They're obviously a different type of comedy, but still a name recognition and kind of got themselves out there, and they're kind of they're bigger now. So I would guess that you're pretty excited to be involved with this Outbreak tour and have your name attached to it as well.
Oh, absolutely. I think in anything with this business, I mean, no matter what you do, you try to give it 100%, and I mean everything helps. I mean it doesn't matter like what credits you have, like especially being involved with something like Monster Energy, such a big corporation. Like it all helps. So yeah, I'm excited, man.
Yeah, it's cool. And then speaking of obviously the stand-up, I looked over on your IMDb page and I saw that you were credited as yourself in this Don Rickles One Night Only TV movie special.
Right.
And I just saw there's a ton of names on this thing. I mean, Johnny Depp was listed and Amy Poehler. It was just a ton of people. I'm just kind of interested. I mean, other than you can just say, oh, yeah, it was really cool to be around all those people, I'm kind of hoping you have some kind of story from hanging around with all these famous people backstage or something like that from your
Well, I mean, yeah, it was awesome. On my Instagram, I have pictures with, like, Robert De Niro, Don Rickles, Scorsese. I met them all. And, it was a really cool thing that I was supposed to do a commercial for Spike TV with Don Rickles. So then the last minute they changed it, but they still invited me to the event. So it was cool to be, like, kind of like in a closed room with just those guys. Jon Stewart was there. Tracy Morgan, it was like huge stars, and Don Rickles, got getting to talk to Don Rickles, and Don Rickles giving me 30 seconds of his time to say hello, and like what an honor it was to meet him, was like one of the coolest experiences. And he told me that he was like, I said, like, just real quick, do you have any advice? And he was like, look, I don't know. He said, just keep going and don't give up. He's like, but I really got to go. I'm going to shit my pants. That's exactly what it is. I'm going to shit my pants because I have no control of my shit anymore. So I got to go. He said, but just don't give up, kid. I was like, all right.
Yeah, that's good advice, I guess.
I haven't heard any better advice. Yeah.
It was good. Yeah, and then what De Niro said to me, he said, he was like, he didn't know who I was. He was like, I don't know who you are. He said, but if you're hanging around with these guys, and shaking hands with these guys, he said, I'm sure you're doing something right. He was like, so just keep doing whatever you're doing. And I was like, all right, that's cool. That's good advice, too.
Pretty good morale booster there.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, the Steel Stacks is Steel Stacks, and you're actually also going to be down in, I forgot to mention this, Helium in Philly. Obviously, I got to mention that the night before on September 2nd, and a lot of really good acts have come in and out of both of those places, so obviously you are doing something right.
Oh, yeah.
But like I had mentioned in the introduction, some people may recognize you if they're not into stand-up. They may recognize you from both MTV's Guy Code and Girl Code. I have to ask, if there is there going to be a transgender code? Because that seems to be the way that social people are moving.
Not that I know of, but I mean, you're absolutely right. There needs to be transgender code. And if there's not, I say me and you just dress up and we'll do it ourselves. We shoot the pilot, me and you.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'm game. All
right, cool.
I'll bring the monkeys. Over to Bethlehem. And we'll shoot it right then and there.
No, the deep blue transgender code. I think I was going to do a gay code, but something happened. I don't know what happened, but I didn't do it. But
I'm surprised they haven't yet.
I don't know. I still think it's I don't know. I mean, maybe it's still in the works. You know how TV is. Like, one thing goes wrong and they pull the whole plug. I don't know. There should be all those codes. There should be baby code. There should be every code.
I got to ask you a follow up here. Do you get bros that just walk up to you in the street and go, "Oh, guy code," and then just ask you a question about the guy code all the time?
I mean, that's every day of my life. Especially in New York. I mean, people yell guy code. I mean, so the cops will yell a lot, guy code, guy code. But now more and more, little by little, they're like, "Oh, are you Chris Distefano?" And I'm like, "What? You know my name? Actually, I'm not just guy code. Code. I'm actually an individual." But yeah, man, it happens all the time. And I embrace it, man. It's like what I signed up for. It's only good things, usually when someone recognizes you for your work. I think that's something that a lot of comics and entertainers in general strive to get. So I feel blessed to, even have just a little bit of it.
Yeah, I mean, the next question I had about stand-up, I just had, because I saw that you did a bunch of stand-up, and then I saw that you were on Letterman in 2013, and then kind of reappeared on Seth Meyers 2 years later. I was just kind of wondering if you learned anything from the Letterman and what that experience was like, and then took it to Seth Meyers a couple years later, and I guess kind of always growing and learning into your stand-up style.
I think Letterman obviously was a lot more nervous doing Letterman than I was Seth Meyers, and it wasn't because I held one in higher regard than the other. I mean, it was both prestigious things to be on, but it's just by the time I did Seth Meyers, which was just a couple of months ago, I had so much more experience. I had done in between Letterman and Seth Meyers a half-hour stand-up special for Comedy Central, so I felt like I had a decent amount of stand-up experience. But going into Letterman, it was my first time. Even though my set had been ironed out and proved, for months, it was still very nerve-wracking. Am I going to forget a joke? Is the mic going to work? Because what they do is with Letterman is they put these headphones on you, and you can't. You just get when he's about to call your name, the stage manager just kind of pushes you out because you can't hear what Letterman's saying. So he pushes you out, but these headphones are supposed to so you can hear him, but my headphones weren't working. So every 2 seconds, I thought that he was pushing me to go. And I'm like, do I go now? No, I'm not touching you, dude. I'm not touching you. And John Travolta was the other guest, so to get to talk to John Travolta before my set was pretty awesome. And for John Travolta to say, go have fun out there and give me some advice was really, really, it was cool. And then Seth Meyers is like the nicest dude of all time. I mean, I think I did it in early May. And I had a daughter on May 19th, so my girlfriend was with me, and Seth Meyers in the room, 9 months pregnant, and Seth, put his hand on my girl's stomach and, asked all these questions about the baby, and then I just saw Seth Meyers about 2 weeks ago for the TCAs when we were doing vendors out in L.A., because he's got a show on IFC called Documentary Now, and he saw me and, remembered me and asked me about the baby and was he's just the coolest guy, and, one of those guys that, I hope I get to work with again in my career and hopefully many more times because he's like that positive energy you want to be around.
Yeah,
it's always cool to hear stories like that.
And he's really funny too. I mean, to go from the Weekend Update to host of a night show is just a huge jump.
Hell yeah, he makes it work, and he's a hilarious guy, down to earth guy, just one of the good guys in this.
Yeah, and we have a segment on the show called Weekly Update, which is a clear knockoff. But obviously, imitation's the best form of flattery, so he's doing a good job. But like you had mentioned, Benders, that's coming out October, is it 1st on IFC?
October 1st, 10 p.m., yep.
And, Dennis Leary's in that, a great cast there. I think Godfrey's in that as well, right?
Yeah.
Because we had him on like a month or so ago, and I think we had talked about it a little bit. So it's basically a hockey. Is it like a Slapshot TV show type of deal?
Pretty much, yeah. It's like hockey, but it's also really like like a bunch of New York guys. Like it's almost like Entourage if they never left New York. If nobody ever made it, and they were just forced to stay in New York to just kind of be, kicking around their dreams. But like we live through hockey. Like we play hockey every night, or like every other night in this recreational league that we look at as like basically the Stanley Cup. And it's really about like 4 Brooklyn friends and one of the friends' wives just kind of going through life, and hockey being like the thing that we like release on, but also the thing that stresses us out the most. So I think if you're a hockey fan, you'll definitely like it because we talk a lot about hockey. But even if you're not a hockey fan, I think it's got that same New York sensibility, that New York comedy that I think is pretty universal. So yeah, I mean it's one of those shows, and Dennis Leary producing it, so it's got that edge to it. That's awesome. And Jim Sefko and Tom Saletti of Apostle created it. So it's one of those ones where I'm a part of it, so I guess I'm a little biased, but it's definitely a show I would watch because it's got it's not like alternative, it's not hipster, it's like very like blue collar. It's not niche, like we're not talking about something so specific, or there's no unicorns. Like it's a real just show, like it's an old school show where like everything that happens in the show has happened to somebody who's watched it. So it's cool.
And IFC, that's not censored, right?
No. Well, you can't like you can say like one F-bomb an episode and like a couple of bitches, but like it's not HBO where you can do whatever. But it's also not, it's not NBC.
I love how it's like you have like a list. All right, how many F words did we use today? How many times did we say fucked it? Oh, we already said it? All right, damn it.
No, it's true.
We still got 2 bitches left, though.
Yeah, somebody dropped an F-bomb and we were already over the F-bomb limit, then, we have to redo the take. It's crazy. Somebody's going to count that shit.
Is there any improv aspect into that show?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was a scripted show, but by the 3rd or 4th take, they would definitely let us improv or say, go have fun with this one. Absolutely.
Did you have any experience like going into that? Have you improv'd a lot before, or were you mostly stand-up?
An improv class, like when I first started, and I just didn't like it too much. I mean, I respect the crap out of I respect improv, players. Well, I mean, they're awesome. Those guys are unbelievable. But I don't know. I couldn't get through in the improv classes. Hold on. I couldn't get through like the warm-ups. Like when you have to like take an improv class, they make you like throw a joke, like physically throw it. I can't do this shit. So But on set, I feel like there's so much improv involved with stand-up anyway, like, crowd work and all that.
Yeah, feeling the crowd, yeah.
I've done it before. But, guys, wait, I'm about to go on stage. I'm going literally.
Yeah,
called me and said, you're coming on stage.
Yeah, we'll definitely let you get going. But, yeah, we want to make sure people see Benders in October. Head to steelstacks.org for tickets to the show on September 3rd and Helium Comedy, or go to chrisdcomedy.com for a full list of tour dates. Chris, like we said, we'll let you get going, but thanks for spending some time with us.
Thanks for having me, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yep. All right, stick around. More Showcast in a second.